you're pretty much stuck. There's nothing that you can do. I want to talk about pros and cons of living in Korea and in Canada, where I'm from. So in my last video, I talked about how I do not know what I want to do and how I've lived here for 2 years and I'm heavily debating whether it's time to go back to Canada. Still don't know, still haven't made my decision yet, and my visa ends in August. Let me explain a little bit further like what I'm thinking, okay? Also, yes, I'm wearing the same pajamas. Korea is great. Let me start by saying that. The pros of Korea and the pros that I mentioned in my last video are really good pros. There are things like the transportation here, the subway system is so great. You don't need a car because everything is so accessible, and I can't have that in Vancouver. In Canada, you need a car to be able to live, or like to live comfortably, let's say. Here, the transportation is accessible and it's reliable, which is really, really great, and it's safe. I don't feel like I have to be on constant alert when I'm taking transportation. I can put my phone on my lap, my wallet on my lap even, and it would be 100% okay. No one's gonna take it. That's great. And also the delivery, the food delivery here is so good. I just ordered some fried chicken, which is amazing, and there's no delivery fee and nothing. It was just literally the cost of the chicken itself, which is amazing. That is my second one. Third one, the weather. I am a type of person where weather really affects my moods. It rarely rains here, and other than like the raining season, that's like 2 or 3 weeks, and for the rest of the year it barely rains. It's usually just sunny and super hot, or sunny and super cold. It does have its cloudy days, but for me the important thing is no rain, which is something that Vancouver has a lot of. The cafes, the restaurants, the constant stream of new places to try, new things to do. There's a lot of people here, a lot of young adults here, right? So there's always new things to try out, which I really appreciate. I feel like I can't have that in Canada every weekend or whenever I want to go do something. I feel like I can't. There's nothing to do. So I really appreciate how in Korea there are knitting classes, there's pottery classes, there's always new cafes, bars, restaurants to try. Literally anything that you can think of, there will be some sort of like class activity for, which is amazing. And I feel like I will not get bored of the city for a long, long time because of that. I feel like for me, the weather thing and the cafe restaurant thing is very important. I feel like that takes up your kind of weekly schedule, right? So for me, that's something that I really like about the city. Now moving on to the cons of the city, of course for me, the language. I feel like every single thing I do, I cannot do it by myself. I need assistance, and that's totally like my fault. Just speaking transparently and realistically, especially new places, new experiences, I can't do that comfortably. I would have to take a person who speaks Korean to come with me and help me translate if that place didn't offer a Korean translator or an English-Korean translator. The only places that I really feel comfortable are in restaurants I can order fine, coffee shops I can order fine, like things and places that I frequent often. Oh my goodness. Places that I visit often. But if it's like the doctor's office, I don't feel comfortable going to that. If it's the dentist, I don't feel comfortable. The hair salon, I cut my hair yesterday and I didn't feel comfortable going, even though it was an amazing experience. And I was really lucky. The person cutting my hair, she was super nice and accommodating, and she made me feel really, really comfortable. And I actually spoke my like chopped up Korean English to her, and it was okay, but those appointment scheduled activities, I'm not comfortable doing. And I feel like it's always a nuisance, or, you know, I always have to bug one of my Korean friends or someone who speaks Korean or whoever to always kind of babysit me when I go to these appointments, which I do not like. So that's a pretty big one for me as a con. Second, immigration. Korea immigration doesn't want you to stay in the country. They make it very difficult for you to switch to like a PR or F visa. With English teaching, there is the E2 visa, which is how I came to Korea, right? But once you're here, I mean, it seems very doable to come to Korea and get an English teaching job. But once you're here, you see the industry for what it is, and it's a business. These academies are not schools, they're not education systems, they're businesses. So their only aim is to make money. It's very disheartening when you start to read more about it and you start to go on Reddit and all these other sites and see everyone else's experiences and how they're getting scammed, and how, you know, everyone is advising other foreign teachers to really check their contracts, really check this or that, or to know their worth, things like that, and to constantly be having that fed to you, rightfully so, right? These are not false accusations that people are saying, they're facts, and when you're here you really feel that. But having that like negative, you know, this career, this English teaching thing that I'm doing is actually I'm just helping these people make money, you know, like, or helping them scam the system. It doesn't feel that great. Does that make sense? Like, for me, it doesn't really feel like I am teaching the kids and I am really like a positive impact on these kids' future, which maybe I should look at it that way, because the kids don't know any different, right? But seeing it from the teacher's perspective, it seems very negative. I'm not saying that my experience was bad, it's just my experience was pretty good, to be quite honest. With my school and everything, it was pretty positive. But just the system as a whole is kind of hard to take in. The constant suspicion that you have to carry with every single school you interview with every recruiter you talk to. There are stories out there that they scam you, that they take money from you, how, you know, you make contracts with the recruiters instead of the school, which is not legal, and just all of these things. So being able to live in Korea is great, but the problem is that Korean immigration only allows one route for international people to live here, and that's English teaching, and that's not a great way to live, you know, at least not for the long term. The other ways of living here that I've mentioned in my other video is like mostly through marketing jobs, from what I found, and even then those are pretty hard to get into, I think. I'm not a marketing student, so I don't know too much about it, but really the only way that you can stay in Korea is teach English until you save up all the points to switch to a more permanent resident visa, which I hear is very hard to come by, or you just get married and you kind of skip everything else, because you're not allowed to be a freelancer here. You're not allowed to have a part-time job. No company is gonna sponsor your visa if you're just working part-time. You're pretty much stuck. There's nothing that you can do. So that's a big con for me. Number 3, is it? I think that's it, honestly. I think that's it. No, I will say number 3, maybe the work culture. I won't say too much about that because I didn't experience it myself, But from what I hear from other people, once you get into a new company, there can be a lot of work pressures, especially if you are in a Korean company. I think with academies, it's usually like American-based academies. So there's less of that Korean culture, hierarchical work pressure. I think that can come into play if you switch to a different type of visa, or if you're doing a marketing job or some other type of job where it's a Korean company, then those work pressures will affect you. So those are my quick cons and pros of living in Korea. Now I need to decide if I want to move back to Canada or not. If I move back to Canada, right, here's what I'm thinking. If I move back to Canada, it opens up a lot of options for me. I came to Korea right after I graduated school, like immediately after. On the day of my graduation, I went to the post office and I mailed documents to Korea and got prepared to leave. So I never really explored my degree, my psych degree, or I never really started a career. I just came here to teach English because I wanted to travel and I wanted to live in Korea and try it out while making some money. So I feel like moving back to Canada, it will allow me the freedom to start a career, whether that is getting a teaching degree, or getting a master's degree in psych, or getting a degree in social work, or somehow getting into marketing or HR or something like that. There's a lot of options, which is really great. But that also kind of scares me because I'm like, I don't know what to choose. In Korea, I'm just pushed into English teaching, and it's not the best, but it's that's my only option. So it kind of makes things a little bit easier in terms of life trajectory, I guess. But there are like too many choices in Canada, which seems like a non-problem, but I just feel like I am not like 100% with any one of those career paths. So I just don't know. I can't choose. I feel like I have interests in all of them, and I don't know which one will fit me the best. So I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. So that's like a con/pro. A second is the weather. The weather, it just rains all the time. It rains all the time. I do not like it. The weather affects me and I don't like it. Although the flip side, I guess you can have like the holidays, the Halloweens, the Christmases, Thanksgivings, things like that. My family is there and my friends are there, so that is great. The cons of going back to Canada is I still really enjoy Korea. I really love living in Korea. I'm not sick of it yet. I'm not sick of the city yet. The visa situation, yes, I'm sick of it. But I'm not sick of the city yet, and I don't want to miss out on living in Korea in my 20s. If I go back to Canada, I'm thinking I'd go back and live there for like 2 years, and then I'll come back in my like late-ish 20s, which is still like young, but I don't know. I'm just like, I guess a little bit worried. What if I go back and, I mean, if I stay longer than 2 years, that means I like it. So I guess that's not a bad thing that I don't come back to Korea. I don't know. It's just so hard to decide. I just don't know. And also, I really enjoy making videos. So making videos in Korea is a lot of fun, and there's so much content that I can make. But at the flip side, I really like making videos at home. Most of my videos, I'm just staying home. So I can do the same thing in Canada. I don't know. I don't know what to do. The point is, I don't know what to do, and I feel like if I talk about it, then it'll help me clear out my thoughts and organize my thoughts. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. But then again, I don't have a job right now, right? So I feel like right now is the perfect time to go back to Canada and live and see how it is for a couple of years, rather than like starting a new job and then having to quit, or, you know, wait for another kind of lull and then move back and try. Anyways, if you have any advice, please help me. That's it. Bye!